My lords, with the recent influx of cosmic storms, our scientists have been very busy. We have attempted to document some of the new interesting events that we've experienced since the storms began. In this report, I will cover 5 events in total. We've designated these Collided Planet, Crimson Crawlers, Stormbound, but they're cute, and finally, the Imitator. I'll begin with the event designated the Collided Planet. Upon entering the XC724 star system, we detected quite possibly the largest planet that we have ever seen. Using the common designation, it is size 50. Its mere existence was a source of fascination. It is not the collision of 2 celestial objects that is unusual, as the galaxy is vast and chaotic. However, in all known instances of such an impact, one or both of the planetary bodies in question were destroyed. We have named this planet TRES-4b, or TRES for short. The collision that formed TRES appears to have taken place millions of years ago, and yet these 2 worlds maintain a strange equilibrium. They seem to have formed a life-sustaining atmosphere in the process. Indeed, this planet is currently habitable. The situation on the so-called Collided Planet turned out to be far more precarious than anticipated. A recent series of earthquakes opened up old scars around the impact zone, causing a significant amount of magma to erupt from the ground. Various planetary biomes are already beginning to suffer from rising global temperatures and the volcanic ash that clouds the sky. To make matters worse, we believe that if the joint planets are not stabilized within the next 50 years, our readings predict that tectonic activity will continue to escalate and ultimately cause the complete disintegration of the planet. Our top geologists have come together and formed 2 possible plans to save the planet from succumbing to tectonic terror. The first plan is to stabilize the collision. While it would take many centuries to heal the volcanic wound around the impact zone, through careful terrestrial trepanning, we can alleviate the pressure on the planet's crust and hope to prevent further tectonic instability. The remaining volcanic byproducts will be used to terraform the planet into a stable biome. The second plan, however, is far more ambitious. Instead of alleviating the pressure on the planet's crust, the energy and materials generated by the volcanic eruption can be adapted to form a tailored terraforming process. This approach would allow us to sculpt a multitude of biomes capable of sustaining every type of life form. Effectively, we aim to turn this world into a paradise. However, there is a significant chance that the procedure will fail and could even lead to the complete and utter destruction of this unique and giant stellar body. Nevertheless, despite the risk, we attempted to stabilize the collision. Our aim was a Gaia world. We will either create a world for all, or doom it in the process. It took a matter of months, and I'm pleased to report our efforts to stabilize the collided world have paid off. The tremors that previously threatened TRES have been silenced, and the volcanic byproducts are rapidly decreasing as we speak, returning the world to its fragile balance. And today, we behold a paradise, a planet capable of sustaining nearly every form of life imaginable, a Gaia world. To be able to save a doomed world and transform it into something this inspiring, has there ever been a greater accomplishment? The Commonwealth of Man is now the proud owner of the largest planet we have ever seen in the galaxy. Fortune surely favours us. A wonderful outcome and a fantastic example of astrosculpture at work. The next event we shall address is the one designated Crimson Crawlers. We found a planet carpeted in trillions of red insects, a plague or an opportunity. The planet is scarlet, and the intensity of the colour is quite remarkable. We shall of course investigate further, but given its colour, we named the planet Virugo. From a distance, Virugo shone like a precious crimson jewel. Clay or other soil types infused with hard metals would be the usual explanation for such a geographical anomaly, but the truth was far more bizarre. It was bugs. Trillions upon trillions of bugs. They swarmed over the surface of Virugo in an almost unbroken carpet of multi-legged life. Quickly dubbed the Crimson Crawlers, these invertebrates possessed a remarkably hyperactive reproduction cycle. While not innately harmful to their native environment, Farugo was not well suited for colonization with the creatures scurrying about. One rather unorthodox method of handling the insects has been proposed. Our initial scans show that they're edible, so perhaps we have found a new food source. We advise at least in investigating this opportunity. The idea of consuming the Crimson Crawlers may have seemed preposterous at first, but when a specimen was brought aboard, it suddenly became far more palatable. The insects are a creature of wonder, possessing an extremely advanced nervous system without the benefit of a central processing organ. More importantly, their pale flesh is surprisingly tender and moist, and even when consumed raw. The vermilion-hued exoskeleton was deemed both crispy and delightful. The question remains as to whether the bugs would better serve as a research material or a delectable source of food. Cooking them may provide more flavour and fun, but eating them as they come, i.e. raw, will be much quicker and easier, especially paired with an appropriate condiment, and of course we have several options. Thousand Island sauce seems appropriate. Given the available options, we did decide to cook them up, and this was a marvellous choice. Food production has skyrocketed due to the influx of a new food source, but most importantly the people are happy, and resources from jobs have increased by 5%. I believe the prawn cocktail has been replaced. Next, we move on to an event designated Stormbound. The science vessel Benatar picked up an ominous vessel on its sensors, and this vessel appeared to be in the midst of a cosmic storm. We wondered what was at play here. We continued to receive strange reports from the Benatar. Apparently, the last cosmic storm raging in the sector revealed this ship of unknown origin. It was bearing no call sign, and yet it somehow cruised through the tempest as if entirely unaffected by the surrounding violence. It did not respond to hails, and as soon as the storm dissipated, so did the vessel itself. This may have been dismissed as an instrument artifact, but the visual evidence speaks for itself. We wonder, could this be a display of incredibly advanced technology, or is there something more ominous at play? We will be sure to report back any occurrences of this mysterious vessel. One of our research stations has come to us with a startling report. During the last cosmic storm, a strange ship almost collided with the outpost. Visual reports show it to be the same ominous vessel reported by the Benatar some months ago. According to the observation station, the hull on the vessel appears to have been constructed from a strange amalgamation of organic compounds, calcium minerals, and metallic alloys. But importantly, no organic life was detected, which leads us to speculate that the vessel was either automated or had somehow gone rogue. However, the most baffling thing was yet to come. Large sections of its propulsion system were clearly shattered by space debris. As we saw it, the vessel should have been dead in space, but we've assigned the Benatar to monitor the next cosmic storm in the hope that we find out more about this mysterious spacecraft. It only took several weeks before another storm manifested itself, and in the distance the Benatar witnessed the ominous ship appearing between the layers of the storm. As it floated by, we detected wild readings emanating from the cosmic tapestry. This finally provided an answer as to why the ship could not be observed by our sensors. Its physical manifestation had been stretched beyond the manifold, as if it had both entered and not entered a wormhole. It was likely due to the hyperdimensional origins of cosmic storms that the ship managed to return to our space. Knowing this, we now should be able to detect the next occurrence, and perhaps pull the craft back into our reality. And that's precisely what happened. When the next cosmic storm appeared, the Benatar grabbed it and pulled it back into our reality. The ominous ship then hailed us, and a mechanical entity in an ornate mask appeared on the screen, identifying itself as B-Tin. Her tale was a fascinating one. She was a renowned officer, a true paragon of an organization known as the Convention of Benefactors. While on patrol, she and her crew were caught inside a cosmic storm, and in a daring bid for survival, she made the decision to overcharge the ship's breach drive. This experimental technology had never been tested, and the vessel and its crew were trapped within the storm's hyperdimensional field. Her story finished, and a small container was released from the decimated ship. Inside was a collection of documents, which she asked us to take home. After which the transmission ended, and the ship disappeared into the spatial manifold. The documents are all written in a foreign script and will take some time to decipher. Fortunately, our linguists are quite efficient, and the contents of the strange container had been deciphered. One document contained a schematic of the ship's so-called breach drive. While still beyond our own technology, careful study of the principles behind its construction have already improved our understanding of hyperspatial travel. Less beneficial, but more affecting, were the translations of the personal letters. Each was addressed to a loved one, speaking of fondness, hope, and regret. It seems that B-Tin's intention was to give her crew one last chance to reach out. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing where to deliver these letters. Making them available to our own people may at least preserve their strange legacy. Alternatively, it might be wise to destroy them. Knowledge of strange ships and ghostly letters may be unsettling for the populace. We decided to archive the letters for prosperity. We have seen a slight increase in unity and xenophobe ethics attraction post-reporting this event. However, the key outcome relates to the knowledge of our hyperlane jump drives, which has opened up new avenues of progress. The next event we'll look at is designated, but they're cute. After a survey of a tropical world designated Quibble 6, a strange creature was discovered aboard the science vessel that had conducted the survey. Despite having only been among the science crew for a short time, it appears to have already instilled a deep desire to nurture and protect. This is a cause of obvious concern, and further study is underway. From the moment the creature was discovered, its impact was undeniable, inspiring love and devotion among us almost instantaneously. Its 4 bulging eyes displayed innocence and invited anyone to stroke its soft, cloud-like fur. It became particularly attached to a Dr. McCoy, spending most of its time on his lap and enjoying his affections, not showing any signs of aggression or danger. It's as if it was perfectly engineered to be as inoffensive as possible. Still, some skeptics have pointed out how irresponsible it would be to keep a previously undiscovered life form aboard the ship without prior approval. The entirety of the science crew aboard has vouched that it is definitely, probably safe, but have agreed to request a formal investigation. Thus, we shall find out what this thing is. The docile hexapod did not need to be sedated or even coerced into being prodded and scanned. It seemed remarkably agreeable. The crew have nicknamed it Gur after the soft noise it makes when petted. We have concluded that Gur is an omnivore, and that its fur consists of familiar, very soft keratin-based filaments. But the true marvel and mystery takes place inside the adorable creature. It achieves total cell renewal within a month. This includes its nervous systems, meaning that it could fully regrow functional body parts within a matter of days. It seems highly unlikely something with such a sophisticated biological makeup is a product of natural evolution. We have never before seen anything like it and cannot be certain of its temperament over time. Despite its apparent docility, we think it could turn on us at any moment. That said, since its appearance, Dr. McCoy seems far more motivated to work than ever, and thus we are left with questions. What should we do with Gur? Dr. McCoy and the crew are asking if they can keep it. We decided to allow the adorable creature to stay aboard the science vessel, and it has since settled in nicely. It still calms Dr. McCoy, lightens the mood wherever it trots, and crew morale is at an all-time high. Hopefully, this remarkable wonder of nature will continue to be a cute, docile friend to us all. From now until the end, it shall be ours, and it shall be named Gur. Quite splendid. The final event that we shall cover today was designated the Imitator. Our sensors pinged the telltale signs of a distress signal of a lost drop pod during routine exploration of the Gamma Zeta system. This in itself was odd, as according to logs, no human ship had ever entered this star system before, let alone had an emergency pod been released. The distress beacon was coming from the third planet, and we moved in to investigate further. Once we had established a visual on the pod, it became clear that it had been bashed about by a cosmic storm. Given the metal degradation, quite possibly a nexus storm. Furthermore, even though the data signature used looks to be one of ours, the pod is definitely alien. We answered the request for audio communication cautiously, but we were met with elation by the capsule's inhabitant. The creature aboard explained to us that she had been dragged along by a tempest for some time and was seeking rescue. Her vessel's life support systems were on the brink of failure, and when we asked her to identify herself, she bizarrely claimed to be a member of our own crew. This lie was painfully obvious, if for no other reason than the fact that everyone aboard our ship was already accounted for. Despite this, we brought the escape pod aboard our ship, and the ruse obviously ended as soon as the capsule's seal was opened, after which the alien within immediately began to launch into a desperate plea. During routine inspection of the escape pod on her mothership, she apparently became trapped inside and ejected into space. Sadly, no one aboard her vessel noticed that she was missing. Stranded for months, she used what little technology she had aboard her ship to mimic the energy signals of passing ships, as a type of lure. However, even this failed to attract help. Worst of all, a cosmic storm took hold of her pod, dragging it light years from its home system. Driven to extremes by loneliness and fear, she concocted a plan to pose as a missing crew member of any ship that happened by. The pod dweller apologized for the deception, but is obviously glad to be alive. Amusingly, the alien was a Blorg, and it told us its name was Mercedes Romero. Given that we were currently at peace with the Blorg, we provided the alien transport to the nearest Blorg-inhabited planet, despite the pleas that she wished to stay with us. Thanks for watching, folks. That covers 5 of the new events that come with cosmic storms. If you want to learn about the most evil precursor ever introduced in Stellaris, then I suggest you click the video on screen now.